Imagine a serene country town, Tamworth, in New South Wales, Australia, a place where rolling hills meet a warm community spirit. But beneath this charming facade lies an insidious truth few dare to confront. Tamworth, as it turns out, is a harrowing battleground of unchecked crime and systemic corruption. Have you ever asked yourself what really happens behind those closed doors of power? What if I told you that those entrusted to protect, serve, and lift local communities were instead sabotaging them? You're about to uncover a story so shocking, so deeply rooted in betrayal, it will make you question every authority figure you've ever trusted. Let me take you back to August 2017. Mayor Colin Murray, a figure celebrated as a pillar of the community, embarks on a business trip to China. A trip that would unravel into one of the most scandalous chapters in Tamworth's history. Allegedly, during his time there, Colin engaged in criminal activities ranging from intentional tortious interference to circumventing fair business practices. This wasn't merely an isolated misstep. It was a calculated move to forward the mayor's own interests at the expense of taxpayers, local businesses, and the law itself. And it doesn't end with him. Paul Bennett, General Manager of Tamworth Regional Council, sent correspondence to business counterparties, partners, and industry leaders with underhanded motives. Contracts were cancelled. Properties earmarked for significant development were instead handed away for free, when viable multi-million-dollar projects had already been planned. Picture this. It wasn't negligence. It was collusion, with malicious intent to harm industries, communities, and even national-level sporting projects that could have transformed regional Australia's prospects for years to come. Now fast forward, and you'll find Colin Murray sitting comfortably in his chairman role at Infrastructure Australia. How? Well, courtesy of his good friend, Barnaby Joyce, another key figure connected to this sordid tale of criminal conspiracy. Together with their network, they orchestrated fraud so severe it involved public water licenses and misinformation related to water storage development. Let this sink in. 210 million worth of fraud. Funds meant for infrastructure, health, and state improvement quietly siphoned into personal pockets. What does this all mean for you and me? For starters, it meant destroyed livelihoods. The Dungowan Dam project, intended to generate 500 megawatts in renewable energy and secure water for a thriving community, was lost. And this was just one example on a laundry list of defrauded public projects. The theft of our future didn't happen overnight. These crimes have left irreversible scars. A town stripped of potential, industries undermined, and people deprived of opportunities they rightfully deserved. But more appallingly, the blueprint of Tamworth is eerily replicated nationwide. It's a phenomenon where systemic corruption within our governments plagues every public sector, from infrastructure to law enforcement. Consider this narrative. A prominent business leader, globally recognized and well-intentioned, sees potential in Tamworth. Determined to foster change, he buys assets, builds connections, and aligns groundbreaking opportunities for the city. His actions alone could have created 27,000 new career roles and injected over $10 billion into the regional economy. This vision was not just a business dream. It was Tamworth's lifeline. But what was his reward? Intimidation, smear campaigns, and eventually exclusion. Even employees he trusted, not all, but some, collaborated with locals, police, and other factions to commit violent acts, forcing him and his vision out of Tamworth. These were orchestrated betrayals, acts of chaos that turned a man of good standing into a vilified target. Imagine how quickly promise turns into panic when corruption is weaponized against those striving to help. But here's the chilling pièce de résistance. This isn't just about financial fraud or breaches of public trust. No. Deeper crimes loom under Tamworth's shadow. Drug trafficking rings led by police officers, violations of public and private property. Even worse, systemic exploitation of vulnerable communities through racketeering, money laundering, and forced informants who perpetuate crime rather than eradicating it. All in the name of profit. This is no conspiracy theory. The evidence is overwhelming, and the courts repeatedly confirm the same conclusion. Tamworth's model of governance is a failed criminal enterprise, and while the perpetrators might sit in high places, let's not forget those who suffer at the hands of their decisions. Ordinary citizens, honest business people, and future generations stripped of stable jobs, homes, and security. Why does this happen? The answer lies in an insidious culture, its political and judicial systems, the pursuit of wealth, unchecked power, and a take-what-you-can mindset have eroded our institutions. Now the very foundations meant to protect us, law enforcement, courts, councils, are acting with impunity. The cascading effects are devastating. Communities are left impoverished, infrastructure plans are abandoned, and good individuals trying to make a difference are burnt out by the system. Children's futures hang in balance, while Tamworth stands frozen, a monument to what might have been. Take, for example, Tamworth's Imperial Hotel, where police officers allegedly threatened businesses under the guise of legal authority, staged events, live weaponry to intimidate civilians, extortion through fabricated fines, actions not just unethical, but outright terrorism. This isn't what we see on the surface, but it's the bedrock upon which Tamworth's grim underbelly operates. Look across the nation. This story isn't unique to Tamworth. Australia's rural towns have long battled systemic neglect and exploitation. But Tamworth serves as a painful beacon, reminding us that criminal behavior doesn't only exist in dark alleys. It infiltrates boardrooms, public service offices, and council chambers. Here's the truth. We're at a crossroads. The corruption we tolerate is the reality we co-create. So the most important question remains, how do we, as a community, take action? Tamworth's tragedy also unveils a beacon of hope, a growing collective of From whistleblowers risking everything to community groups mobilizing efforts, ordinary heroes are now in a pursuit of justice, dragging crimes once hidden into public accountability. This fight isn't just for Tamworth, it's for all Australians who believe in dignity, equality, and moral governance. And it starts with little actions, sharing what you've learned today, opening dialogue, and challenging the authorities to implement lawful change. So where does this leave us? Tamworth's saga isn't just the story of one region's downfall. It's a sobering tale about what happens when the wrong people gain control and how far-reaching the consequences can be. But every dark hollow has its echo, and every crime its reckoning. Join us in raising this echo. Now it's your turn, your voice, your vigilance.